Welcome to Living the Dream, sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the podcast that brings together studio owners, dance educators, and leaders in the industry. Hosted by Regold and Laura Giacomelli, each episode is packed with real talk, inspiration, and a passion for the dance life. We're so glad you're here.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Living the Dream. I am Laura Giacomelli here with fantastic Regold.
Ooh, fantastic. I'll take it. I think you're fantastic too, my friend. Hey, everyone. We're glad you're here. Before we get to our guests, Amber Smith from Jackrabbit Dance, we're going to talk all about summer. I want to hang out with you a little bit, Laura. What's exciting and new?
What's exciting and new? I mean, for me, it's funny that we're talking about summer because I just launched all my summer camps 2 weeks ago. So this is like exactly where I am when it comes to my dance studio. So I'm excited to talk about this today for sure and get some more strategies on how to promote or marketing, whatever. So I'm really interested in talking to Amber today. So yeah, but then other than that, it's still like the middle of the season. We're getting ready for comp and recital costumes are sitting in my garage at this point now and they have to get hung up and, checked in. And so, yeah, so we're moving and grooving for season 15. It's good. How about you? How was your weekend? You were away this weekend.
Well, I normally would call it being away. It was only 7 miles away from where I live.
True. That's true.
Because it was in Charlotte. But I'm going to come back to that in a second. I want to ask you a quick one.
Yeah.
So did you say marketing 2 to 3 weeks ago? Or you started?
Yeah, I launched all of my summer camps. We have 7 of them this year. All 7 summer camps were launched on, I think, January 10th. So over a week ago at this point.
Can I ask you a question about that? Do you feel that doing this in January, doing this at this time, is to an advantage for you?
Yes. So I realized, it's funny, I didn't realize this until I was a mom and looking for my own summer camps for my own child. I didn't realize that summer camps at the Y, at the local campgrounds, things like that in my area, they open January 15th. And I was launching all of my summer camps in February always. And what I realized is I was a month behind. So if I wanted to be in competition and be, front row and be a good option for these parents, I needed to get them out a month earlier. So this is actually the earliest in 15 years I've ever launched my summer camps. My summer evening classes are not launched yet. I'll put them out in February because I think that parents are more concerned, at least in my area, about childcare activities during the day because school is out rather than those evening activities. And I'll be honest, I launched them and I was like, we'll see how it goes. I have consistent registrations coming in every single day for summer camps. And I also, this year for me, last year I offered 5-day-a-week camps and they weren't as full as my current 3-day half-day camps. So it's interesting, to see like parents in my area, they all want different things. So it's just finding my niche of what I want to offer them. So I have 2 like full week camps, and then I have all the other ones are just like 3.5 hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And those ones are my fullest ones, which I was like, I didn't think that they would be, but it's interesting. What every family needs is just different.
And I do think it shifts from year to year. Like
Yes.
you could be saying what you're saying this year and what is like surprising you. And then next year you'll find that surprise isn't as big as a different surprise. And
Right.
I think it also is just how it lands in the minds of the parents, the students.
Right.
on that particular year.
Yes. Yes.
And
I will say too, Reed, this year I polled my parents. I put a poll on my members only Facebook page and I said, "What are you looking for summer camps?" It's very, very simple. Do you want 5 days, full days? Do you want 3 days from 9 to I think we're 12:30? And 75% of the people who took the poll were all 3 days. And that was like the defining moment. I was like, "Oh, so I'm gonna offer that," because I offered the full day last year just thinking that that's what parents would want, when in reality, for
really,
me, it wasn't. Yeah, and it was last year was a lot of staffing, a lot the numbers weren't as high as I was anticipating, I was hoping them to be, I should say. And all of them, almost all of them still ran, but I don't know, I don't think it was as far as the business, it wasn't as I think as successful as this summer is gonna be. But I didn't have that information because I didn't put up the poll, It's like lesson learned, right?
yes, communicate with your clientele. Put
Mhm.
out polls. Don't be afraid that you're going to get some sort of a negative response. If you get a negative response, learn from it.
Yep.
Maybe there's some validity to it. If there's no validity, that was hard to say the second time. If there's no validity to it, then you should have enough confidence to know that. Boom,
Right.
boom.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so my weekend, I had a Gold Alliance retreat. We called it a mastermind rather than a retreat. And I think it was more like a mastermind because we worked for 2 days straight. It wasn't so much of earthy crunchy, is like I like to call it. We got earthy crunchy at the very end, but it was like, studio owners from across Canada, the US, bold, ready to take on the world, growing their
Yeah.
school. One of them just built this enormous, like 12,000 square foot building.
Wow.
And they're go-getters. Spending a weekend with them, it's like, okay, this is why I do what I do. I love that.
Yeah.
And
That's
seeing
amazing.
them all hang out with each other. A big part of a mastermind is what you learn from your
Yeah.
fellow pros, and also what you learn from them, what maybe not to do as well,
Yeah.
because of experience or different experiences.
Yeah. And I think that's what's something that's special about the Gold Alliance, Rhea. I was in it for 6 years. It's like you are people aren't scared to be vulnerable in that group. It's not like keeping up with the person next to you. It's like, "Wow, you have 1,200 students. That's great. Wow, you have 200 students. That's great. Wow, you have 600." Like, there's not this big, like it's not a place of coming from, "Well, I have to get that big," or "I have to." It's like you get inspired and people who have the studios that have 1,000 students are still learning from people who have the studios with 300 students. Like that's what's cool about it, and everyone sees each other as equals, and we all learn and push each other and inspire each other. And I think that's something special that you get from the Gold Alliance because it is a more petite group. It's not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, right? Like it's an intimate group, and it's awesome. I got so much out of Gold Alliance.
You are someone I'm very proud of from the Gold Alliance, my friend.
Thank you.
But there's a point I want to say. You know that, and you know this. That 350 person may be making as much money as the 600 person because of their
Yes.
yes.
And I think that's what people don't understand. And that's something that I learned in Gold Alliance. It's like higher numbers sometimes equals higher bills. So in the end, that when the numbers shuffle out at the end of the year, it's sometimes they're kind of the same. Like if I'm running a 3,000 square foot facility. My bills are not the same as someone who's running a $12,000 facility that they built, right? Like the amount of children she needs in that facility to maintain is 10 times as much as what I have to do to maintain mine. So And I think
payroll and
right, and
it's like,
insurance and all of it, yeah. Snow removal, right? Like, just, like, the things you don't even think about, like, all that extra stuff that you're like, "Wow, I didn't even think about," the electric, like, Pico, like, "Oh, I got my Pico bill last month." I'm like, "Oh, that was $1,000, and I'm only 3,000 square feet. I couldn't imagine what it would be if it was 6,000 square feet," like, those are things I think about when I'm like, "Do I want to expand? That's a lot of heat." Like, it's a lot of space to heat.
I'm with you.
But
Okay, good conversation. We have to end it because I want to bring in our guest.
yep,
Quick reminder, everyone, Living the Dream is also a podcast. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
exactly. And if you want to watch the full library, you can find all episodes on YouTube as well.
Before we jump into questions, bring in our guest, we want to thank our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance. They are an exceptional company helping thousands of studio owners worldwide, giving them the ability to work within their business without having to worry about all the other things because Jackrabbit has it all done for you. We will be back right after this commercial with Amber Smith from Jackrabbit Dance.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Amber, welcome, my friend.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you here. I would love for you, before we start, to tell everybody a little bit. I know, what's your position at Jackrabbit? What's your official title?
So my official title is Strategic Account Executive. So to sum that up, I take care of our clients that have really high enrollment, multiple locations, franchises, that kind of thing. But I've been with Jackrabbit for 10 years. So
Congratulations.
different positions here.
Tell everybody a little bit about your dance background, because that's what I think is the coolest thing.
Yeah, so I am not just from Jackrabbit Dance. I am a studio kid, grew up in the studio, would go there straight from school, worked in the office, assisted classes, competed, an original student of Michelle Soutier's at Miller Street Dance Academy. So I danced at the studio, aging myself here, about 15 years, all the way through college, and then went on to judge some dance competitions, and then found myself here at Jackrabbit 10 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're still sneaking some work at the studio. I know that for a fact.
Of course. Yeah. Gotta support the home ship,
I love that. I love that as a studio owner. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hello, Muffy. Just want to say hi to you. Those of you that are watching live today, chime in. We'd love to hear where you're from. Laura, you got some facts going on. Okay. Wait, I need to move my script down a little.
Yep.
Okay, Amber, from what you see across studios, what makes summer hard to figure out beyond the obvious, the scheduling, the faculty, the marketing?
Yeah. So, your regular dance season, you've got consistent classes, everything feels very routine. And then you get to summer and it's really hard to have a program that meets on the same day at the same time every week. And so summer is completely different. and families need different things. I was listening to you and Laura chat in the beginning, and knowing what your families need in your area and giving them that flexibility to pop in when they can around their travel. They're looking forward to that break. So looking at your regular dance season and your summer season as two different seasons with different goals, I think is really beneficial.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, Amber. I feel like if you look at them as completely different meals, right? Like different entrees. Like you have your I say it's my school year program that I run, and then your summer program that you run.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what a lot of studio owners, and I used to do this early on, I didn't put as much emphasis on the launch and knowing what my people wanted in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And my summers never got to where they could have been early on, if that makes sense. Like I never thought, oh, I should just, parents don't want to take maybe necessarily 2 dance classes in the summer, but they want to try acro and hip hop. So why can't we do an acro hip hop combo class for ages 6 to 8? Why not? Right? Like, why can't we do a princess camp 3 days a week? Like, sometimes it's like we're so like trained and stuck in our ways of, no, we have to, dance has to be this way and they have to learn. But at the same time, it's like when they're 3, we have plenty of time when they come in September to teach them all of that, right? Like, get them in the door and make them fall in love with dance in the summer should be the priority. Maybe not saying we have to have these cookie cutter classes that we have during the year. Because once I stopped doing that, summer started like filling more. I had to and it was hard as a studio owner to switch my brain and be like, we're going to do it this way now. And you're like, what? But you have to do it if you want to survive in the summer,
Absolutely.
And maybe it's not just 2 different seasons. Maybe it's 2 different businesses.
Because the goals are completely different. You're looking for that structure during the regular season. And in the summer, you can try to offer new programs, see if people bite, going with your whole theme there, see if they latch on to that, and give people the flexibility to come in and out as it fits their schedule.
Yeah. Do you see, Amber, a lot of studios offering drop-in classes in the summer that don't necessarily offer that during the school year?
I do. The studios that have really strong summer programs are offering those drop-in options. And whether it's a continuation of the same genres that they hold during their regular dance season, or sprinkling in, some new things to see if there's interest, those drop-ins and paying per class really benefits the studio and also benefits, the families.
And you think that from what you see with those studios, it's still a lucrative, those classes are still filling, they're still going, the studio is still profitable with switching to that drop-in? Because I will say, as a studio owner, that's like a little scary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're going to offer drop-in, but how do I know if this week's going to be 2 kids and that next week's going to be 19 kids? Like, I feel like that's something as a studio owner with offering something that out of the box for us. Because for me, you enroll monthly, right? And then hopefully stick it out for the season. That's the goal at Libra. Sure. But I think that drop-in is a little out of my realm, but it's something that I am thinking about offering, this summer or next summer. But it's nice to hear that those studios, they do well with that. And then they switch over to that year-long enrollment come the school year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just making it easy for the parents, obviously a drop-in, you don't have to sign up way ahead of time, but you can give them the opportunity to go ahead and pick and choose which classes, so you have an idea. And then being able to see, okay, we held these classes and this was the sign up and attendance. How can we improve that? Do you need to maybe market them a little different than you would your summer camps? And I did like what you said earlier about polling your families and seeing what it is that they want, because even at Jackrabbit as a software company, we can think we know what our customers want. But when we talk to them and we ask them, that's when we find out, okay, what is it that you're really looking for here? And then we can
Right.
provide that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in the end, it's only going to, as you know, attract Jackrabbit. And as we know, as studio owners, if we don't know what they want, then we're just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's not good for business. Like, yeah, you want to take chances and do some things out of the box, but I also don't want to go into, a lot of studios right now, their recitals are in May or early June. So we don't come back until maybe end of August, September. So those are months without consistent same income coming in like the school year. And that can be scary for studio owners. It's like, how are we going to handle that dip? Are we going to, take a chunk of money throughout the entire dance season and stick it away to pay those summer bills? Or are you going to build a program that supports your summer bills and supports you as an owner and your staff? Like, that was my mind shift. It was like, I don't want to spend recital money to cover summer anymore. I don't want to spend year-long money to cover summer anymore. Like, summer has to be profitable. And once I feel like studio owners make that decision, that's when things can shift in your business.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Laura. You got the next question.
Oh, yeah. I love this question. Amber, what do you think, like, where do studio owners overcomplicate summer?
Ooh.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I think trying to provide a program without insight from your clientele. I mean, in my area in Charlotte, things are shifting. And we're seeing more parents that are having to go back into the office. And so where you were talking about that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, well, if they get to do a work from home day on a Monday or a Friday, like, that's perfect. Their kid can be at summer camp while they're in the office. And so that would be really, appealing to those parents. And so I think overcomplicating is trying to figure it out on your own without getting any of that insight from your community, and just kind of tacking on to what we've already been speaking about.
Yeah.
If you were to define summer success, what would that look like?
I don't think it's about necessarily keeping classes full. Obviously, you need to do enough to make money and be profitable. Make sure you're not underpricing yourself. But it really is about keeping that door open and keeping those relationships, that connection. As a kid who competed and did all the classes Monday through Friday at the studio after school, summer was like the fun time. That's when I got to, as a younger kid, go to summer camp. And there were a few summers in the beginning where I missed it because I would stay with my grandparents in the summer and I really felt like I was missing out. And then even when I progressed on to like drop-in classes and technique classes or clinics and things, it was like I was there for the pure joy of the art and not because it was a Monday and I had to be there at 5:00 for ballet,
Right. It's like a more fill your cup in a different way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say to our audience who is watching in the comments, we would love to get some questions as far as what are your biggest summer challenges, whether it's enrollment, staffing, consistency, communication. Please feel free to add any questions. We would love to ask Amber and get her opinion on them. So feel free. So Amber, next one, what does a variety of summer programs like work better compared to like a single offering? So do you feel like the drop-in is better compared to signing up for one jazz class? Are summer camps bigger right now in the industry? What do you think kind of carries a lot of studios through the dance summer?
Yeah, I think the variety is really important. because different age groups have different wants and needs, different families have different wants and needs. And so when you were talking about, like, as a studio owner, offering drop-ins is kind of scary. And I get that. And so if you can also in tandem have these summer camps going on, that is, they're still short, but they're, it's a bigger sign up. It's, more money coming in per kid per sign up. I think that is really key too. And like you said, parents are looking for that. They're looking for that in January. They're like, how can I fill this summer with things for my kid to do? Because, they need to keep them busy. They don't have the routine of school. And other than when they're in and out of town, they need something for their children to do during the day.
Right. And I just want to add to that, when I'm saying like summer camps, just for our listeners, I'm not doing necessarily like a dance camp. I would like to like throw that out there. Like I'm doing like a pop diva camp. I'm doing a Labubu camp this summer. Those are those little scary little dolls that everyone loves on their backpacks.
That's
we're just, and yes, we will dance. Yes, we will do crafts. Yes, we will have outdoor play and do bubbles and all that. But I'm not necessarily marketing as like, come do jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop, lyrical. I have a camp like that too that we're offering in my company intensive where they're going to train. But what I've also found is those camps that have the fun themes and you base your crafts and your music and your decorations and things like that around them, K-pop, things like that. I mean, my K-pop camp's already halfway sold out for summer, and it's like, I thought to myself, is it going to be like banned by then? Like, is it going to be like out? And I'm thinking to myself, no, it's not. Or even if it is, I got all these kids, I got to figure it out.
I want to jump in. I used to laugh because when Frozen came out, everybody was like, oh, my most successful camp is Frozen. I want you to know that K-pop beats it. I have never heard anyone who said I ran a K-pop anything and it didn't get maximized. So if there is an audience listening later on or today, just go figure out what K-pop is, ladies.
Yes. Yeah. And it has all of its own music read. Just download the CD and you have your whole playlist. It's clean. It's appropriate. Like it's great.
I was thinking of opening the K-pop Dance Academy. I just don't know if in 5 years that will work.
Oh, so good. But just like Laura said, it's all about the activities and the crafts and things that go with the theme. The theme doesn't have to have these outrageous, decor and all of that. It's just everything ties back to that. And that's how you attract your new students, because kids that maybe aren't like as familiar with dance, they're not intimidated because they know that they're going to maybe do a little bit of tumbling and arts and crafts and games and, freeze dance. That's always a good one.
Right.
Right. So that's still a thing. It was.
Yeah, very much so. It's my go-to.
Attracts your new clients because there's that lower barrier of entry. Like it's just exciting to go to dance camp.
Yeah. And I will say, Amber, and I noticed this like in past summers, I have more new students who will sign up for camp than sign up for evening summer classes, which is so interesting. Like that, like 6, 7, 8, they're not coming in and doing a hip hop camp. They're coming in and registering for Princess Camp, or they're coming in and registering for K-pop or the Labubu. Like all the new registrations that are coming in, it is for camp stuff. And in my mind, I think that's great. And obviously, like as a studio owner, if I'm not running that camp, I'm making sure my staff knows, like they need to lead with the fall flyer. They need to know what we offer in the fall. I want that, I want them to turn into year-long students, obviously. But you're right. It's like that pulls them in. A jazz class might not pull them in, but a fun theme would. And then that's your opportunity to make them fall in love, So I 100% agree with you.
So what do you think is a simple menu of programs, classes that you think a studio owner might consider?
Well, I think summer camps are a given, because you can do a lot of fun activities, and you can even get some of your older students to help with that, just to make sure you have enough staff in the room. We talked about the drop-in classes. I think Laura has kind of mentioned it, but mini sessions. So I know at Miller Street in the month of July is when they offer their mini sessions, and it's 4 weeks, and it's, the ballet and tap combo that they would normally have weekly. And it just meets every week in July because it's easier for a family to commit to just 4 weeks than it is, to the whole summer. And if they miss 1 week, it's not really that big of a deal. I think intensives are good, especially if you've got a competition team or company kids. That's a good way to keep them active during the summer, especially if you have access to someone outside of the studio that can come in and teach. A lot of times that will get your company kids to come in. I know it's not really dance related, but like birthday parties, or community events, just anywhere where you can be visible and seen. It's just a good way to just show your studio in a different light than what you do during the dance year.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I will say I recently from, I'm sorry, Ree, go ahead.
No, you go and then I'll ask. I guess this is an exciting conversation going on.
Yeah, really. I've had drop-in. I did like a 5-week shorter summer program, and I made it mandatory for my company kids. And we had about 75 on team. And last year I gave the option of offering a summer intensive or your 5-week program. And my company intensive took off. I didn't think that would be the thing that everyone loved, but I'm on the East Coast where I'm right outside of Philadelphia. So I'm very lucky. I have New York above me. I have Philly below me. Like, we're in a hub. So I had a Rockette. She's the captain of the Rockettes. She came in and did classes. I had Reggie Oliver, who's been on with us, who's an amazing hip hop choreographer. He came in. People from the different theaters in Philadelphia came in and did some like musical theater with the dancers. And then plus I just mixed in our normal staff. Like, I wanted to give our staff opportunity to teach. So like, we have an incredible ballet teacher. She came in. I have an incredible modern teacher. She did modern. I teach tap. I did tap, so it's like the kids had at least 2 different teachers every day outside of their norm, plus me or Brittany or Regina, who are normally on staff. And I just said to myself at the end of it, I was like, this is all we're going to do next year. And all my staff was like, really? Like, you're not going to make the company kids come in during the summer? And I was like, no, I'm not. And I said that to the parents. I said it to them in September. Here's the week next August, a year from now, hold the week before you book your vacations. This is the week that we're going to do it. And I said to them, I love if I have more kids in that intensive, I can bring bigger people in because I have the funds to do it. And I'm not scared to spend the money to do it. I just need to make sure that it makes sense, obviously, for the business. But bringing in the big names that I brought in, it was awesome. 76ers dancers, Eagles cheerleaders, like, you can bring in, and I know we all probably watched UDA this weekend. So if you're in Ohio, you can get one of those Ohio State girls in your dance studio and do a collegiate something, whether it's a pop-up or camp or something. I mean, I think if we just start thinking outside of the box as studio owners, there's a lot of opportunities in the summertime to fill your studio with different opportunities for your dancers. So that's where my mind's at. I'm like, what college team did well and who can I bring in?
That's a great way to pull in your like high school age, because you gotta dangle some kind of carrot to get them to come in. They got social lives now, and so they may have other things they want to do, but I guarantee if you bring in one of those collegiate girls, they'll be signing up in a heartbeat.
Yes. Yeah, that's our Super Bowl. That's what I was watching all weekend.
Yes. Same.
You had said earlier summer camps. Tell me, because I want people to think that there isn't just one style of summer camp or one set of number of days you do a summer camp. Give me some examples of what I have, like a pop-up option. I don't want to say them, I want you to. Give me some thoughts on different camps.
Like themes?
Not themes necessarily, but okay, for me, I look and I go, I have a pop-up camp option, and that means that's a 1-day camp.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 3-day camp option. I have a half-day camp option.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your thoughts. Like, give me some diverse ideas.
Yeah. So, being at Jackrabbit, we obviously support more than just dance. We have gymnastics and swim and cheer. And I've seen some of our other clients like really make camps super flexible where you can sign up for the same camp, but maybe you're signing up for just the morning or just the afternoon or a full day camp, especially if you have a lot of parents in your area that, if there's a 2-parent family and they're both in the office, like providing that full day camp experience really allows them to make sure that their kid has something to do, but also gives them that, I don't want to say childcare, but it does make sure that they're taken care of during the day. Of course, states have different regulations on what that looks like, but having that kind of flexibility can also kind of catapult your camp program. If you want to offer, drop in the morning for 3 hours and you have you have like a midday pickup and then you have your afternoon session, or you can sign up for the whole day, or maybe you offer those as 2 different types of camps. I mean, that's where I think you can get really creative with what your community is looking for. And if you don't know, asking them and then being able to offer that.
Awesome. So we talked about camps. Can I ask you, if I hit you with these words, tell me, or these examples, tell me what your first instinct is. Okay. Drop-in classes. How would you suggest I do it? And is this something you'd suggest I do all summer long? Is this something you suggest I do for a couple of weeks? What are your thoughts?
If you've never done drop-ins before, and like Laura said, that can be really scary because it fluctuates so much. Do a drop-in week, test it out, see how it goes, offer it, and judge that. If you're getting a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, I love this idea, but we're not available this week. Okay, that the concept is good. And maybe you can offer that, 3 weeks the next summer. I think making sure that you don't feel like you have to go all in on everything is really important. Test out things if you're not sure if that's what your community is looking for. And maybe drop-ins don't work for you. Maybe people in your area are looking for something more consistent. And I think that's where each studio owner, your community the best. But don't be afraid to try something, sprinkle it in and see if it catches on.
Yeah. And I think that there's also incentives too that I've seen other studios have done. Like a drop-in is more expensive than if you were to sign up for the 4 weeks, or if you were going to sign up for the 5 weeks. So maybe a once a week class drop-in is $25, but if you're going to register in advance, it's $22 or $20, whatever it may be, right? So parents will be like, oh no, we'll just sign up. If we miss one, we'll make it up somewhere. So that you have that option, and it is more enticing to get that $5 off each class or $2 off each class and save that money and go to Starbucks like I do. But, that might be like an option. It might be, for parents, but that's something that I kind of thought too. I'm like, I could offer both, drop-ins an option, and then also signing up for the whole program's an option too. And you get a better price then. Because I think what's scary is, and this is knowing, I think the fear of really knowing your numbers and diving into it as a studio owner. It's like, what's your number that you break even? How many drop-ins do you need this summer in order to cover your bills? And I think figuring out what that number is for us makes the drop-in, at least for me, when I really think about it, it makes the drop-in idea less scary. Because if I know if I'm going to have people buying a class card, how many class cards do I need in order to make my bills, right? That's what I think.
That's where I wanted to go, because I hadn't heard that word until you just said it.
Yeah.
remember, talk about class cards for me, if you would.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a concept that I think a lot of our industries use, whether you want to call it like a punch pass or a punch card, or I've even heard summer pass. And so, if you have like a lot of interest in this drop-in concept and you're able to host those throughout the summer, can you offer a summer pass? Make sure that it covers the average of what the attendance is, and you can offer that, and maybe it's unlimited, or you can do like a punch where you buy 10 classes and they're at that per class rate, and then they can come any 10 times throughout the summer. Again, you're allowing that flexibility, but still making sure that you're getting paid for those 10 classes up front, and then it's up to them to show up and attend.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that idea, that then they have the option to make it up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember doing summer class cards at our studio, and we would pin them on the bulletin board because kids would lose their class cards. So if you go to the class card system, you may want to just keep the class cards. And then when they come in, you can punch those cards. That's a little tip. Yeah. And I like this concept because I think kids may take classes that they've never, or a style that they've never taken before. You can offer some unique things that your kids have never taken before, and it could increase their participation in the fall because they have a chance to freely try these.
Well, it's the low barrier to entry concept of, I would like to try this, but I don't want to sign up for the whole year. Let me see if I like it. Or maybe it's something new that your studio's never offered before, and you want to make sure that it's going to have the interest you expect. And then when you're talking about intensives, like Laura said, if there's a genre of yours that is really strong, like you've got a great ballet program, have that intensive for the week. And you'll get the students in there.
Talk to me a little bit about how you perceive a clinic. I think that's a cool word, and I feel like almost anything could fall into the word clinic. It could be, we have listed here a turns clinic, but it could be a technique clinic. It could be an acro clinic. How do you see those?
Yeah, I really think of clinics as really focused on something. So whether it's a turns clinic or it's, I've heard of like feet and legs, like really focusing on stretching, flexibility. I think you can use it interchangeably with workshops and master classes and things like that. But to me, it's really focusing on a certain skill or skill area. So that the intention is known right from the jump what they should expect.
Yeah.
And how long do you think a clinic should be? Do you see that as a one day, or do you see that as long as we want to make it?
I think of a clinic as like a one day, but maybe extended time.
Okay.
But that's not to say that's how it has to be. When I think of multiple days, and I'm thinking more of the advanced dancers that are coming in, that makes me think intensive. It's meeting across multiple days, and it could have different types of classes within it. But certainly I am not the say all be all on that.
I will say I just ran a clinic with my current acro teacher, because I think people think like, oh, you have to run clinics with outside people. And I'm like, not necessarily. So we have a great acro instructor, and she's amazing. And acro is not required to be on my company. So it's an additional class. So some of these kids can't necessarily make that commitment to that additional weekly class. So I just threw an acro clinic on a Saturday for an hour and a half. We had 15 kids sign up for it. And it was with my in-house teacher. It was just a random Saturday. I said to her, are you available? I want to offer something in January for comp season. And a lot of these kids, because they're so strong, they're throwing they're like that close to throwing an aerial because they're just already so strong. They're just trying to get that technique of it, or maybe they're practicing on their air track at home and they're really close and they want to have that spot. So that was I was like, I've been trying to be good about offering some more just little pop-up clinics like we're talking about, not just for the littles, but also for the older crew who want to have the acro or the leaps from the jumps, like you're saying. And it's funny because everyone I'm putting on the the calendar, they are going, and it's with the kids who are taking the 6 or 7 or 8 classes a week, because their mom's like, you can go in on a Saturday and take one extra, that's okay. But to do it consistently, add that acro class, they feel that might be too much, which I understand. They're already committed a lot. So just thinking outside of the box, studio owners, and trying to utilize the staff that you have too, so they can get some extra hours. I know they appreciate it. That's something that you can do as well. So Amber, my next question is, how do short-term programs, like ones that we're talking about, maybe mini sessions or summer sessions, how do they re-engage inactive students in our systems?
Wait, I have to jump in. This last weekend at this retreat mastermind, one of the speakers brought up reactivating your students, not letting them drop out and now they never get anything anymore. That they're even more likely to join a summer camp or rejoin than the people we're marketing to. And I don't believe we talk about that in the industry. Instead, we get mad that they left us, when in reality, give them a year off, they may be back. Can you jump into that as well, please?
Oh yeah, let's tie this all together with a bow. Because at the studio, I've seen that exact thing happen. A kid is enrolled in 2022, they take a little break, they come back in 2025 and they're signing up for 3 summer camps, and then the next season they're then enrolling in the fall season that goes for the school year. So I think those short-term programs, I know we focus on like numbers, but on the other side, it's just less risky and less cost. And I think it's a good way for a student that has been away for a little bit to come in a way that's not intimidating. Like, they haven't been taking weekly classes. So, they're thinking, oh my gosh, can I keep up? Am I going to feel behind? And that short-term program just removes all of that. And no one has to make a big decision. You're focused on that week or couple classes that you signed up for. So it allows that student to come in and really test their confidence again, and get that quick win and remind them why they love the studio so much. I mean, I remember being a kid, even as much as I was involved in the studio, and just being curious about other things. Obviously, I was not sports inclined, but there were other things out there that I was like, do I want to do that? And sometimes you gotta step away, and then that's when you realize what you do enjoy. And they're kids, they're trying to figure it out. So I think that summer programs really just, it keeps everything open so that the kids can come in, even if they've been gone for a while, and see like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed being here. And be excited again.
Yeah. Something that I found, Amber, that works well is I'll just text my inactive list once every other month. We miss you at Libra. We still are open for enrollment. We would love to have you back. Check us out at like contact us at, and it's not like a two-way texting necessarily. It's just like a little blip, but it's like, if you've been open long enough, you can have over 1,000 inactive people in your system, depending on if they're adults versus babies versus people who've graduated. Now they have their own kids, right? Like, you can hit so many different people if you're just good about sending a, hey, we're offering this on Saturday text, right? Like, that's something that I feel like I need to be better about utilizing, is just sending out those random little reminders. We're here. Whenever you're ready to come back, we're here, right? Because I think parents, at least is what I'm kind of feeling, they get bombarded with the emails. So it's like to get a text that's like, so, oh yeah, Libra. Like, let me click on the link and go on their website. What are they offering now? So just being that little reminder every 6 weeks or so I think is also a big deal when it comes to getting people engaged and back in your doors.
I think even just that little message lets them know the door is still open. Because
Right.
as a customer, like if you stop having a service or, discontinue use of a product, you could have that just mental block where you think maybe that door isn't open. So just letting them know we're happy to have you back in whatever capacity that looks like for you.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I feel like that's common for maybe competitive dancers who are there 4 or 5 days a week, and they just can't do that with juggling school or different activities, right? And they had to pull back. Well, come take advanced hip hop. Come take advanced ballet, right? Like you don't have to commit to 6 nights a week plus weekend rehearsals. Like there is a happy medium, like you're saying. And I think sometimes people don't realize there's all of this in between that the studio offers too, not just this huge commitment,
Yeah. Okay, Jackrabbit Dance. I want you to tell me, when it comes to summer, what systems can I use to reduce chaos immediately? Where can I make it so I don't get stuck operationally?
Yeah, I think to me, 4 things really stick out as far as what you need in a system. You need frictionless registration. Families got to be able to understand what the offer is, how to sign up, and how to pay very easily. The more you have to go back and forth, it creates a less than ideal experience, and they could hop over to another studio where it's a little bit more upfront and easy. So don't be afraid to just make that as easy as possible. You'll thank yourself later when you're not having to manually keep up with everything. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but automated confirmations and reminders. So, summer schedules, they're not as structured as your school schedule. So reminders prevent no-shows, and it eliminates confusion without having to go chase anyone down. So if you've got a summer camp coming up, send that email the week before summer camp. That gives them, all the things they need to know about what time they're checking in. Yeah. Do they need to bring anything with them? How to come dressed? Because again, we're not necessarily saying that this is a dance camp. Let's wear our t-shirts and our shorts and just something easy to move in. I think simple, consistent policies. So don't make things complicated. Make it very clear. Make the payment straightforward. Don't try to do anything really crazy that's hard for you to keep up with just to get people in the door. And then participation tracking. So, especially if you're trying these new things, you need to know how successful it was by the turnout, and being able to know, okay, this was the registration and this was the actual attendance will help you plan this stuff better in the future. So when your systems can handle these logistics, you can focus on creating the experience, because we know once these students come in the door, whether they're returning or new, they're much more likely to stay. So if you can make that part easy, then you're cool.
Amber, those were great tips. Like mental notes as a studio owner, great tips. So where can people learn more about Jackrabbit Dance?
Please follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Obviously you can go check out our website. But our social media team does a great job of just talking about what's new and giving tips like this all the time for different seasons. We will also be at Gold Dance Life this summer. So make sure if you're attending that you stop by and say hello to us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today, Amber. This was amazing.
Thank you.
I feel like it's planting the summer seed for everybody. They might not want to hear about it yet, but we're all there. So
and you need to hear about it now. They need to hear now. This is how I feel. It's like this has changed like costume ordering has changed. Meaning, if it were 10 years ago, You might not have ordered your costume until March for your May show. Now you have to order your costumes in October and November to be pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get them. And when it comes to summer camp, it's not 20 years ago, parents thought of it a couple months before summer hit. Now they're thinking about it in January. It's an evolution. And you may say that, well, I do it the old way. Doesn't mean it's the right way anymore.
Yeah, things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we have a lightning round for you, my friend. Laura, I'll let you start it off. You want to alternate?
Sure, absolutely. So best easy yes. Oh, so how this works, Amber, is pretty much the first thing that pops into your head, that's your answer, no pressure. Okay. So what should be, as a studio owner, the best easy yes summer offering?
Summer camp.
One thing to stop doing in the summer.
Don't make things too rigid.
Don't make things too
rigid.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Minimum number of offerings that create stability.
I would say 3. Do something immersive, do something short, and test out the drop-ins.
Love that.
Best re-engagement message you could send.
I'm going to steal this from Laura earlier. Just sending a message. We love to see your dancer this summer. Check out our flexible options.
Okay.
And like straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
No, like just check out our options. Here's the link. That's what I've learned. It doesn't have to be a big, just because they don't want all that. They want that.
We're not reading that, I promise.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's so true. How about one system that instantly reduces stress?
I'm not going to state the obvious here, but I am going to say anything that removes manual entry and follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Amber, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for Jackrabbit. Thank you to Jackrabbit Dance for sponsoring this episode, but being our sponsor for the whole last year for both of our podcasts. I hope that everybody at Jackrabbit knows how much the Gold Dance Life Company appreciates you guys and what you do for our industry and how long our relationship has been going on.
Yes, we really treasure this partnership, and I am very honored to be a part of this today. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Living the Dream is also a podcast, so subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
And if you want to watch the full library, check it out on YouTube. And in the meantime, dance teachers, studio owners, wake up in the morning and think to yourself, how lucky am I followed my dream. Be appreciative that you are living your dream every day. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Take care. We will see you the next time. That's a wrap on this episode of Living the Dream. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for their support of our community and helping dance studios thrive. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your dance friends. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep dancing, and keep making a difference.